What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck idea that I first saw from OmniPoke, so big shoutouts to them for the original combination and what the deck is based, or the idea that the deck's based off of, and that is the combination of Naganadel and Zeraora-GX. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button, it helps us out a ton, and let's do more cool stuff for you guys. And if you are new to the channel, first of all, welcome, and second of all, here at TTM, we are a collaborative channel, so there's more than just my content or the TCG content, which is why you clicked on this video. We have TCG content from Johnny GB, as well as draft format content and other stuff from Uzi and Goldoa, so please feel free to check that out, and also check out our Discord that will be linked in the description below. And finally, before I get into the deck for realsies, the question of the day, did I just say for realsies? Wow. The question of the day, so this deck is obviously based around Zeraora, and Zeraora was recently released in the US as an event Pokemon. So my question is, what is your favorite event Pokemon and why? Now, even if they're available without an event like Deoxys is through Oras, like it was only an event before, but now through Oras you're able to get it, and it doesn't even have to be just like a general event Pokemon. Like, I like Mew as an event Pokemon. I mean, it could be like any single event too. So yeah, just what was your favorite event or your favorite event Pokemon and why? If you had to ask me, I think just my favorite event Pokemon would easily have to be Keldeo, just because, I mean, plain and simple, Keldeo is my favorite Pokemon of all time. Like, Keldeo just, yeah, Keldeo is my favorite Pokemon of all time, so naturally, because it's an event Pokemon, it's going to be my favorite event Pokemon. But if I had to list a single event that I liked more than the others, I would actually have to say that it was the first time that Diancie was ever released in Pokemon X and Y, because even though I attended some events, like I was able to get like codes and Wi-Fi Wi-Fi trades for like the Wi-Fi events for like the shiny Giratina, Dialga, and Palkia, I was able to get all of those. Actually, I don't even remember if they were shiny. I think they were, but either way, I never really soft resetted for a good one. I was always just like, okay, yeah, this is a good Pokemon, I'm just going to go ahead and get it and hold on to it. Diancie was the first time I ever decided to soft reset for an event Pokemon. And I just remember being so ridiculously satisfied when I was eventually able to get a Diancie that not only had perfect EVs and all the stats that it needed it. Like, it basically had perfect EVs all throughout, except for, I think it was 30 in attack, special attack, and speed. And for those of you that are familiar with Hidden Power, that would be Hidden Power Fire. So it was like the first Pokemon that I ever just got absolutely perfect through soft resetting. So yeah, that is why Diancie, the very first Diancie event, is my favorite. But wow, I've been talking for like 3 minutes now and haven't even started talking about the deck. Sorry about that. Let's hop into the deck. Like I said, centered around Zeraora and Naganadel. And for those of you that have been playing, you already know what Naganadel does. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. It does have the attack turning point, where if you have exactly 3 prize cards left, this attack does 80 damage. With the fact that it's entirely colorless, you can power it up with purely lightning, and then with a choice band, you can knock out Psychic Weak GXs, which is very, very cool and definitely something that this deck likes. Just haven't run into those yet and haven't seen them a whole lot in the current format, but basically what you want to do, get a bunch of energy on Naganadel, and then have Tapu Koko come in, Arrow Trail to get a bunch of energy onto it and have it active, and then just start attacking, whereas Zeraora can be a good backup attacker with Plasma Fists. For 3 energy, does 160, then you can use like Electropower and Choice Band to boost that up even more. Just a very, very cool combination. But really, the whole thing is around Tapu Koko and Naganadel, whereas Zeraora is more just there for one huge attack if you need it, also the free retreat, and then the full voltage GX is the GX attack that you can use early on in order to get set up with a bunch of energy on board to where you can just start using Tapu Koko as quickly as you need. Now, one thing that I did decide to add to this deck, actually, you know what, I'm just going to go through the numbers of mons and why I'm using them. I mean, I'm going to talk about it anyway. I have 1/1 of Blitzle and Zebstrika. Now, I've seen a lot of people running the Oranguru. In fact, the original list that this was based off of used Oranguru. but I decided to try out a Zebstrika just because Sprint, you may discard your hand and draw 4 cards. Now, if this was just like an Octillery where you draw until you have 5 cards in your hand or draw until you have 4 cards in your hand, then of course I would use a Oranguru because a Oranguru is just better. But Blitzle in this deck, the way this deck likes to have energy in the discard pile and doesn't mind discarding stuff, Zebstrika works perfectly because not only will you get to play out your hand, you will get to discard all of those and then guaranteed get to see 4 more cards. Like, it's not just a draw until you have 4 cards, it is a no, you are going to see 4 more cards through an ability, and that is insanely strong in this deck, especially in instances where you're digging for another Electropower, you're digging for another Choice Band, like, you're digging quite a bit in this deck, so Zebstrika is just very, very strong with that ability, and yeah, it's only a 1/1, so it's not overly reliable, which, I mean, you don't need Zebstrika, because, I mean, having a bunch of Naganadel, Koko, and Zeraora is really all you need, truly, especially because you can accelerate energy from the discard pile thanks to Naga. The ability to have that option, if they aren't prized, is very, very strong and is something that I really like. So just a 1/1 of those, 3/3 of Koko and Zeraora, only 3 Koko, because, I mean, 3 is enough to be able to shuffle them. Just play one down, arrow trail up, ace roll it back up after you put out another Koko, arrow trail, get all the energy off, and basically it's just sort of a prize denial game. We're only running a couple Acerolas, so that's not like the whole crux of the deck, but it's still just a nice little combination that you can have right there. 3 Zeraora, because that free retreat is actually really, really nice for this deck. Just be able to attach a lightning energy and have the free retreat. Also the ability to potentially start with it and then full voltage to get energy accelerated from the get-go, and then also have a bigger attacker in the background. 3/3 of Poipole and Naganadel for the ability to just accelerate energy. And one thing that I'm going to get to in a bit, but while I'm thinking about it, I might as well say it in case I forget. You could run Ultra Space in this deck. You definitely could. I just couldn't really find the room. I mean, maybe you could get rid of the Acro Bikes for a couple Ultra Spaces in order to more consistently get Poipole and Naganadel out, but honestly, I really didn't find the need for that. I like the ability of Acro Bike to be able to mill through the deck a little bit more and a little bit more consistently, just to be able to see more cards, get cards in the discard pile, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, you can use Ultra Space if you want, but I don't know, I like the Acro Bike a little bit better because this deck does like having stuff in the discard pile. And then 2 Lele, because even though we don't necessarily need Lele to start off the game, Lele is still just so ridiculously powerful in this current format that you need to have it. Running 3 Acro Bike for the milling through the deck, like I said, just thinning out the deck, getting cards we want in the discard pile, getting other cards into our hand, just kind of makes the deck smaller so that we have the ability to draw into the cards that we want when we need them, and also have the cards in the discard pile when we need them. 4 Electropower, and this is really what makes the deck work beautifully, because Electropower is able to turn Tapu Koko and Zeraora, which originally would be like not 1-hit KOs, they would be 2-hit KOs, and maybe even in some cases if they resist like a 3-hit KO, but nothing off the top of my head comes to mind. But it basically turns 2-hit KOs potentially into 1-hit KOs, which is absolutely insane. Like, the thing that Tapu Koko struggled with in previous iterations was that it could only take 2-hit KOs. It could not take those big 1-hit KOs. Electropower allows you to do that, and that makes Koko so much stronger. Running a copy of Field Blower because Spell Tag is stupidly annoying, and also because we are only running a single stadium. The ability to discard an opponent's stadium if they counter ours is always nice. But yeah, mainly this is for Spell Tag because Giratina is stupidly annoying. For search options, we have 4 Ultra Ball and 2 Mysterious Treasure. And you might be wondering, well, why am I running Mysterious Treasure if I have so many electric Pokemon, or lightning Pokemon, sorry, this is the TCG. Why am I running Mysterious Treasure if it can only get 8, if it can only search out half of the mons in the deck? Well, like I said, this deck likes having stuff in the discard pile, so this is a nice way of searching, but also in some situations where you don't even need to search, you can just be like, you know what, I want to thin my deck out a little bit. I want to just throw a lightning into the discard pile for Naganadel or Zeraora to use. So, I mean, it's just a nice way of discarding while also having the potential to search. 1 Rescue Stretcher for recursion, 1 Thunder Mountain for the ability to reduce the attack cost, potentially have Zeraora only attack for 2 energy, which is really strong, same with Tapu Koko. And then as for these supporters, you have 4/4 Cynthia and Guzma. That's just kind of my standard. That's what I start with in almost every deck and then adapt from there to Acerola for the Tapu Koko strategy that I was talking about, the prize denial thing. One Lillie, just because this deck isn't super reliant on having the Lillie as a turn 1, or even having a turn 1 supporter, because as you can see, we don't run like Elm, we're only running one Lillie, and we're only running a couple Lele, so this deck isn't super reliant on that. However, having that option is always nice if the cards are conducive to that. So we're running one Lillie, and then with the theme of discarding and drawing, Sightseer is a very solid card. Just be able to discard any number of cards from your hand, just like, okay, don't want to use these cards, like these cards are dead in my hand, let's just go ahead and draw a couple more. And then 3 Choice Band to boost the damage output, and finally the 12 Lightning Energy, so that we can consistently get a good amount into the discard pile so that we can most effectively and efficiently use Naganadel and Zeraora. So yeah, that is the deck, and let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Shining 90... Actually, no, it's not Shining, it's Shinning. Wow, that is a throwback to The Simpsons. I think it was like it's one of the very early Treehouses of Horror, where it was supposed to be a parody on The Shining, but it was called The Shinning, because, as Willie said, do you want to get sued? But anyway, forgot to see what he was running. I did see a fighting type, so that means it's going to be a little bit annoying for Zeraora to try to deal with, but I honestly think I should be relatively okay otherwise. Unfortunately, I have a Zebstrika in my hand and not a Blitzle to start off, so yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but okay, please, supporters somewhere. Let's Acro Bike, see what we can get, and we get a Naga and a Sightseer. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the... Let's grab the Sightseer, and then energy up my Zera, and then I think... How do I want to do this? So the question is, do I want to get rid of my Electropower? I think I want to get rid of the Energy Electropower and Acerola to maximize my odds of drawing into a Blitzle, which I don't. And, ooh, there's a Mysterious Treasure. So, yeah, this gets another energy into the discard pile. That is great. Let's go ahead and get rid of yet another one, because I'm probably just going to use... Zeraora's GX attack next turn, and then while I really would have liked to have grabbed not a Blitzle, a Poipole, that's what it's called. Wow, I blanked really hard on the name. I need the Lele just to have the guaranteed setup next turn, or not setup, just the guaranteed supporter, be able to get things a little bit more set up. There we go. I was just kind of back and forth between thoughts, like mixing up my thoughts as I normally do. But anyway, my opponent is going to play down an Inkay. Actually, did we see a fighting type? Oh, yeah, it'd be a Marshadow. Man, my brain is switched off. I've been studying all day, and so, yeah, now that I'm trying to record some TCG, it's just like, hey, we're done using our brain for the day, all right? You had your chance, you had your 8 hours, now the brain is supposed to be recovering. But either way, now that I am actually paying attention, we see a couple Inkay, we see a couple Tapu Koko, so this is probably a Giratina deck, based on the amount of spread damage and the fact that, you know, there are Inkays that my opponent has. And, okay, there's 3 Poipole. There still is the Blitzle in the deck. I mean, I only run a 1-1, so it's not, like, super consistent. And then I'm just going to go ahead and play the energy onto Zeraora. I mean, there's really no reason not to. But yeah, let's just go ahead and grab the Cynthia. I mean, I top-decked into a Lele, which, I mean, could have grabbed me a Poipole last turn, but at the same time, I still have the Poipole. I have a Koko in my hand for next turn that I'm definitely going to be able to use. But let's just go ahead and full voltage GX. I know I'm only getting 3 of the possible 5, but if I didn't go for the GX attack, then I just wouldn't be able to attack this turn. And I still get 5 energy onto the board. I will have 6 energy onto the board by turn 3, and that is... Yeah, I mean, that's very ideal. I like having all that energy on board. I have a Koko in my hand. Unfortunately, I don't have another supporter. I don't have, like, a draw supporter, so maybe I can just, like, start targeting down the Inkays with my Guzma and knock them out. So that might have to be the plan that I go for, just because, I mean, like, Tapu Koko's annoying, but it isn't, like... It isn't something that I'm really terrified of. Like, Tapu Koko will get the 20 damage every so often. If he's able to discard his Giratina, throw it into the discard pile, I can get 2 more damage counters. But, like, his Malamar are really going to be what drives his deck. If he's not able to power those things, or if he's not able to use those things repeatedly to power up the Mons on his bench, then I will be in an amazing position. Okay, Onix is going to be an issue for my Zeraora, but considering that I'm more than likely just going to be attacking with my Tapu Koko, I'm not thinking that that will be too huge of an issue. So, ooh, there is a Naganadel in my discard pile. I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab that with my Rescue Stretcher, just to get that set up. That way I can start accelerating energy if I have energy in the discard pile. So let's evolve that there. Guzma up the Malamar. It didn't really matter which one. I'm going to throw up my Naganadel. Again, doesn't make a difference because I will be able to just go ahead and use Coco's ability to go ahead and become active, get energy onto it, and then Sky High Claws will be able to one-shot the Malamar. And what I was also checking on the Onix was the fact that it only has 120 HP, which means that I will be able to one-shot it with Tapu Koko. And even though Onix can one-shot my Zeraoras, I still, like, because Tapu Koko does not have the weakness, I will be able to avoid the Oko in that situation. So I'm holding off on my Field Blower until I can get like maximum value out of it, like getting rid of 2 spell tags or a Shrine of Punishment and a spell tag. Just, I want to get the best value out of my, what am I even saying? Out of my Field Blower. Wow, yeah, brain definitely switched off right now. He pulls me into Zeraora. That's not too huge of an issue, all things considered, because 1, I have the Guzma, 2, I have the lightning energy in my hand for free retreat, and he is powering up this Onix, which is honestly becoming a little bit annoying, so I might want to take that out, but at the same time, I really don't feel the need to, so I'm just going to take out this other Malamar so that I can just honestly get things, like, just shut down his acceleration. I'll be able to Oko anything the second he brings up Lele. I can just go into my Zeraora, and if I have an Electropower, I'll be able to one-shot that thing. Naganadel, not too consequential at this point, just because there's no energy in my discard pile. I'm not really needing it for anything, but I mean, I still have 6 energy on board, and I'm actually holding on to the last lightning in my deck, or that's in my hand, not the last in my deck. If I only had 7 lightning, oh boy, that'd be unfortunate. But exactly, because I was thinking that, okay, a Guzma could come out, he could try to just stall, and yeah, this is great, because I was thinking that when he brought up that Zeraora, well, first of all, he probably would have brought up the one with energy if he could knock it out with Onix, but okay, now that I have 2 energy, I also need it, you know, for the free retreat, but now I can just go into my Tapu Koko, Sky High Claws, knock out his Tapu Koko, and then if he goes Onix, I have energy in order to be able to knock it out with my Zeraora. I can start accelerating energy from the discard pile with my Naganadel. I have the Guzma to take out the Onix if that thing becomes an issue, and okay, so he has the Mysterious Treasure. Honestly, I'm not getting a whole lot of draw support this game, but I'm just able to Guzma like every other turn, or actually I've Guzma twice. I will be able to Guzma this coming turn to get rid of his Malamar, and Onix will be able to attack at this point, but it's not going to one-shot my Koko. So I don't think... okay, here's the Giratina. As long as I don't knock that thing out, then I will be in a good spot because of the fact that he can't spread the energy around. So he actually is just going to go into Onix and attack me. All that does is just change my priority of knocking stuff out, because Onix is definitely an issue. I don't just want to work around that. And then also with the Guzma, I can wait for an Electropower next turn. Just wanted to make sure that for whatever reason Onix didn't have the resistance to lightning. So yeah, we're just going to be able to Sky High Claws, knock out his Onix, and just be in an amazing position. He can... There's not a whole lot he can do unless my opponent top decks incredibly. And all I needed was the Electropower in order for Zeraora to knock out the Lele. I just would have Guzma'd that thing up and would have been able to knock it out. So very, very solid game in, like, straight off the bat. I mean, able to take out a Giratina spread damage deck, which unfortunately my opponent wasn't able to get a lot set up. But then again, we weren't we didn't get the ideal setup, we just got the setup that we needed, and we were just able to Guzma around to prevent my opponent from being able to, like, repeatedly power up attackers and put me in a bad spot. So yeah, that was a very, very solid first game, but I'm hoping that we can get another one where maybe my opponent is able to get a little bit more going than this one did. But yeah, let's just go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against Baxo, I don't even know how to say it. Baxa, I'm going to call him Baxa. But we do win the coin flip, meaning we will get to go first, and unfortunately we see a fighting type, which could also be bad, and we start with a Tapu Koko, which is very, very unfortunate, as Tapu Koko is normally one that you just want to put on the bench so that you can put all the energy onto it, and then just use Arrow Trail to come right on in to the game. So yeah, that's less than ideal start, but I mean, it's not like the end of the world. I guess there's no true, like, horrible starter for this deck. And we see the mid-cargo, so it was fighting, dark, and fire, and since it's mid-cargo, I'm guessing that this is going to be like a Zoroark, Lycanroc deck, and oh boy. So this is not great, but it's workable. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and Ultra Ball for the Blitzle, and I'm going to be getting rid of the Zebstrika actually, but because I have the Rescue Stretcher, I will be able to grab that. But actually, no. Let's get rid of the Cynthia, because I mean, with Zebstrika's ability, I'm able to draw into 4 cards, and yeah, I know it's not like I know it's not a shuffle draw 6, but I can draw 4, and then still have the ability to use a supporter for that turn. So it's just kind of like a Ultra Balling, thinning down your hand for an Oranguru, whereas in this situation, well, my opponent judges me anyway, so very glad that I decided to just go ahead and get the Poipole down so I can get the Naganadel ASAP. And okay, so I can definitely work with this, and we do even bait out the Field Blower immediately, so that is great. That means that our others will be able to... Ooh. So I know I'm kind of like scattered right now, but I'm trying to think, okay, what's the play that I should make? So let's go ahead and Ultra Ball to grab the Zebstrika, because I want to get that thing in, and I want to get that thing going ASAP, just so I can constantly have the draw support as well as throwing cards into the discard pile for Zeraora's GX attack. So let's go ahead and do that. See what we draw into, and okay, so not amazing, but ooh, we can just grab the Lele. It gets rid of my Rescue Stretcher, which is unfortunate, but it's manageable. And then I'm going to go ahead and band up my Zeraora so that I can one-shot. Just a general... Actually, it just takes less Electro Powers in order for Zeraora to one-shot like a Zoroark or a Lycanroc. And oh, this is glorious. Wow, this is a fantastic start. So let's go ahead and do this, let's grab the Guzma, throw another energy into the discard pile. How many is that? That's only 3. Ooh. Well, let's just go ahead and charge up. I don't think I'm going to be using Zeraora's GX attack, because I should have a couple Naganadel already set up. And let's just call it a turn there. I'll be able to Sky High Claws next turn. Yeah, my opponent does have the ability to evolve into, well, the Macargo that we see, and then do we see the Lycanroc? Because if we see the Lycanroc, yes we do. What's he going to bring up? What is he going to try to stall? Doesn't look like he's going to be stalling with anything. So that's relatively interesting. Okay, never mind. He brings up the Zeraora. There it is. So I was kind of expecting that, but what this means is I can actually just Guzma up his Lycanroc and two-shot that thing with my Tapu Koko, especially considering that he doesn't have any energy on the Lycanroc yet. I can just knock that out, or I can... Let's see. Is there a way that I can work around this? No, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't think so. So what I'm going to do is energy up the Koko and then just Guzma up the Lycanroc. I mean, I would kind of have preferred to just go ahead and... Yeah, I would have preferred to just go ahead and attach to the Zeraora Free Treat out and then knock out the Magcargo, because that's going to be what my opponent's kind of going for. But, whatever, it happens. And, ooh, I get the Electropower. Do I want to use that now? I don't think so, because I'm just going to be able to one-shot... or I'm going to have to two-shot this Lycanroc anyway, and I want to save the Electro Power for when that will be the difference between a KO and not a KO. I'd rather have those things saved than use them up early on to where I'm not able to have them later when I need them. And so my opponent does, I mean, he top decks the Cynthia, but I mean, that's what he put on the top of his deck with his Magcargo last turn. He's going to Nest Ball, probably grab a Zorua. Yeah, that's exactly what I would expect him to do, and he does get another Rockruff. But at this point, I mean, we have enough energy on board to where I can just kind of move around my energy, just attach them kind of wherever, so that I can have the free retreat thanks to Zeraora. And yeah, this deck is insanely fun. I'm having so much fun testing this deck out, and I mean, I'm just very glad that I have been able to get good games so far. I mean, the first one was kind of short, but it was still a good game, and this one is also pretty solid as well. So he's going to smooth over. I'm thinking he'd put a Zoroark on top. Yeah, I think that would be the play. Put a Zoroark on top, just kind of sacrifice this Lycanroc, be like, okay, this Lycanroc's going to go down. I can top deck into a Zoroark, because then I still will have the combination of Zoroark and Magcargo for next turn, in addition to the Rockruff that's on the bench. So, I mean, I won't know what my opponent has, but I still think that, like, I think that's what he went for. So I'm going to go ahead and just attach the energy to my Zorua or not Zorua, my Zeraora, and yeah, I think just go ahead and Sky High Claws. I might as well just take the knockout on the Lycanroc. I don't want to ditch my hand because, I mean, I have Acerola, I have Guzma, I have Electropower. I have basically a ton of stuff that I want to keep in my hand. And now I have an Ultra Ball next turn to get a Naganadel. And yeah, we do see the Zoroark. I'm guessing that's exactly what my opponent put on top of his deck. And ooh, I can do something pretty interesting this coming turn, because yeah, with the Zoroark, he's going to be able to hit me. If he gets a full bench, he'll be able to hit me for 150. There's an energy in the discard pile that I can use. So what I think I might do is deny him the knockout on my Tapu Koko with the Acerola, and then if I can get Electropower into a Choice Band, like if I get another Electropower into a Choice Band, then I will just be able to play Tapu Koko right back down, attach the Choice Band, play the two Electropowers, and then one-shot his Zoroark. Like, that's an ideal world. Unfortunately, my opponent's starting to get set up, which is not very good for me. In fact, it's very less than ideal. But honestly, I'm in a good situation, because, I mean, he can knock out Poipole, he can knock out Zebstrika, but he does just decide to take the damage on the Koko. That is the immediate threat, which I definitely agree with. And, ooh, I get the... Oh. So now I just need a Choice Band. Unfortunately, the Choice Band's on my Zeraora, so I can't even Acerola that up. But what I can do, I think I might actually try to go for broke this turn. Yeah, I think I might try to go for the one-shot. So let's just go ahead and Acerola up the Koko, because this is going to get... I mean, there's plenty of energy on board anyway, and I will be able to get another Naganadel up. So let's Ultra Ball, get rid of just 2 lightning energies for that Naganadel. Yeah, let's grab that so we can just get 2 more energies on board from the discard pile. I will still have my attachment for the turn. So even though I Acerola'd up 3 energy off my Koko, I'm still going to end this turn by having 6 energies on board, which is really, really kind of absurd and kind of awesome. I mean, it just shows you what this deck can do. So let's go ahead and play that down, just play the Koko back down. And the question is, do I want to go for the 2-shot, or do I want to accept the 2-shot, or do I want to go for the broke and go for the 1-shot? I think I'm just going to go for the 1-shot. There should be a couple more... I mean, there should be... All I need is a Choice Band or another Electropower. I should get one or the other, and I actually end up getting both. So that is absolutely gorgeous for me. What I'm going to go ahead and do is Choice Band up my Koko, force him to play another Field Blower if he wants to knock me out, and then I am able to take the knockout on his Zoroark in one hit, and I get my other Electropower. So that is crazy. I mean, I was running low on cards by the end of it, but really I had everything I needed. Just that Zebstrika. That's why That's why I really like Zebstrika in this deck over just Oranguru, because of that ability to ditch your hand, throw cards into the discard pile, because this deck actually likes having cards in the discard pile. It fuels your Naganadel, you're able to, I mean, it fuels the Zoroark, or not the Zoroark, Zeraora, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Zoroark, but I mean, it just does so much for the deck, and in instances like that, Oranguru would have been dead weight for me. Like, it wouldn't have done anything because I had too big of a hand, whereas Zebstrika is just kind of like, okay, I'm going to ditch my hand, but then I'm going to draw into 4 cards. So basically, you're guaranteed to see 4 new cards if you decide to do that. Now, you have to be very careful, as that is much more resource intensive than Oranguru or Octillery used to be. But I don't know, I just really like the explosiveness of Zebstrika in this deck. I mean, I could go 2-2, but I don't know, I figured 1-1 was sufficient, and it did come through in this game, so I think I'm going to call it there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.